No video game, or any piece of art for that matter, is truly perfect. Not only are missteps and shortcomings inevitable, the very act of trying to define perfection is impossible. There is no such thing as a flawless game. And yet, there are those rare experiences that resonate with us on a deeper level and manage to surpass the sum of their parts to become something far greater and more impactful. And today I want to focus on 10 Nintendo games that have really stuck with me long after the credits roll. These are the games that I personally think go above and beyond in every way, creating worlds and moments that I find inspiring and timeless. I just keep coming back to these games, whether it's a full replay or just thinking about them while listening to their soundtracks constantly. If it isn't clear already, this selection of games is simply based on my own biased opinions and memories, and I'm not trying to say that these are the 10 objectively best Nintendo games out there. These are the experiences that I've connected with the most in my life, acting as a sort of personal Nintendo Hall of Fame. I don't actually believe these are perfect games, as I could give you a long list of problems with all of them. I'm just being dramatic because it's more fun. I decided to include only one game per franchise to make things more interesting, as otherwise this video would be 75% Zelda. I'm also not going to be ranking these games, so I'll be talking about them in no particular order, as I find it easier to focus on pure appreciation without the added element of making a ranked list. Now let's get into 10 Nintendo games that I think are about as close to perfection as you can get, starting with one that I'm sure you all expected to be here. Rhythm Heaven Fever delivers everything I could want from a rhythm game in this style, with delightfully weird and replayable minigames and a fantastic soundtrack. It's incredibly satisfying to learn the patterns of each song, and the simple button inputs keep things approachable while still offering plenty of challenge with the timing and patterns. This game always instantly puts me in a good mood when I play it, as it's full of positive energy, strange creativity, and hilarious moments. While the music is terrific, it's the way it's perfectly synced with the gameplay that really takes it all to the next level. Nearly every single one of these minigames are standouts, and the remixes that mix them all together are so much fun to learn. I just can't get enough of this game's overall vibe, and I think it accomplishes everything it sets out to do with flying colors. While the other two Rhythm Heaven games are great as well, and I'm extremely excited for Groove, I think it'll be difficult to outdo this one. I've grown to love this game more and more over time, earning it a solid place on my list. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a strong contender for my favorite 2D platformer of all time, as it somehow gets better every time I replay it. DK's heavy movement is incredible and makes for a really satisfying flow to the gameplay, with exceptional level design that both feels natural and looks gorgeous. Throw in a legendary soundtrack full of atmospheric and memorable songs that match their stages perfectly, and I truly think this is one of the finest Nintendo experiences out there. While I totally understand why others might pick TKC2 as their favorite of the series, Tropical Freeze is the one that I personally come back to the most because of its stunning visuals and consistently high quality levels. It has the perfect amount of challenge that keeps me on my toes without feeling unfair, as every death is a lesson of what to do differently next time. This game builds on what came before while also having its own distinct identity, and it still feels fresh and manages to impress me 12 years after it was first released on Wii U. I absolutely love this game, and it was one of the first ones I thought of when putting together this list. I've talked about Wii Sports Resort countless times on this channel, and that's because this was one of the most defining games of my childhood that was a foundational part of building my love of video games as a whole. This was and still is my favorite game on the Wii, as its excellent use of motion controls and vibrant vacation energy make it the perfect digital escape when I need it. I've grown to love every single one of these 12 sports over the years, whether it's the relaxing ambience of golfing on Wedge Island or the endlessly satisfying feeling of sinking a 3-point shot. At this point it feels like this game is a part of my DNA. And talking about it so frequently in YouTube videos has only made that connection even stronger, giving me a reason to revisit this game from a different angle every now and then. Woohoo Island is my personal happy place, as no matter how much my life changes, I can boot up this game and it's like no time has passed at all. It's probably not too surprising if you're familiar with my videos, but this is easily one of my all-time favorite Nintendo games. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is responsible for nearly single-handedly shifting my perspective on video games as a whole, as before playing this game I was convinced that JRPGs would never be for me. While I was skeptical at first, I quickly became invested in the story and was consistently impressed by each new gorgeous expansive area. This game completely took over my life for a few months during my initial playthrough back in 2021, and I grew deeply attached to the world and characters of the Bionis and Mechonis. The narrative is massive in scale and ambition, and while it's often a bit messy and overcomplicated, the emotional core stays strong throughout the whole journey, resulting in one of the most impactful gaming experiences I've ever had. From the sweeping soundtrack to its countless memorable locations and story moments, this game was a turning point for me that opened my eyes to all kinds of new genres and types of games outside of my usual comfort zone, and I don't know that I'll ever feel quite this connected to another JRPG again. Splatoon 2 Octo expansion might not be a full game, but it's easily the peak of the Splatoon series in terms of narrative, gameplay, and overall vibes. At this point, I think this expansion might have been lightning in a bottle, as nothing this franchise has done since has come close to this for me. The higher difficulty matches the shorter levels perfectly, creating a great balance of challenge that really pushes you to engage with all the mechanics and power-ups. The story of an Octoling trying to escape a corrupt system is oppressive yet still hopeful thanks to your constant chats with Pearl and Marina, making these characters feel like genuine friends on a deeper level. The design, atmosphere, and backstory of the Deep Sea Metro is incredible, going darker and weirder than Splatoon ever had before. And the final hour of gameplay where you escape this depressing prison by force is one of my favorite sequences from any video game. From its terrific soundtrack to its unique and stylish aesthetic, I genuinely think this is one of the best single-player experiences Nintendo has ever created, and it shows just how much potential this series has, making it my go-to example of why I love Splatoon so much. Super Mario Galaxy is and probably always will be the 3D Mario game that I'm the most familiar with. From first playing it in my childhood to my countless replays as an adult, I know this game like the back of my hand. I've collected all 120 stars multiple times on both the Wii and the Switch, and these levels, mechanics, power-ups, characters, music, and ambience have stuck with me ever since they first caught my attention as a kid. I completely understand why some might prefer the more smooth movement and open design of games like Mario 64 and Odyssey, but the tight level design and constant introduction of new ideas combined with the unmatched atmosphere of this game solidly makes it my personal favorite. Even I can admit that Mario feels a bit stiff at times, and some of these purple coin levels just straight up suck. But every time I return to the Comet Observatory to hear that angelic music and watch Lumas soaring through the sky, those problems seem to melt away. Incredible songs like Dusty Garden Galaxy and Family have motivated me to start learning to play the piano just recently, which shows how this game continues to inspire me beyond what most video games are capable of. Animal Crossing New Leaf has this special sauce that made it a fantastic escape for me when I first played it, with the perfect balance of life sim elements and player customization that naturally introduces new goals without it ever feeling too overwhelming. As my first Animal Crossing game, the relaxed pace and real-time clock system were immediately enticing, immersing me in the routine of living life in a small town with plenty of simple and satisfying tasks to complete. The hourly soundtrack is divine, capturing the different energies of the day beautifully and always serving as the perfect companion to whatever you're working towards. So many of my best memories with the 3DS are from this game, and it set the bar high for what this genre could play and feel like. I spent a lot of my time playing New Leaf imagining what a full new HD entry on a modern console would look like, not knowing that I was currently experiencing what I consider to be the peak of the series. And that's a great example of one of the most important lessons this game can teach: to slow down, live in the moment, and enjoy the simple pleasures of living your life. For real this time, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the most important and defining games of its generation. But beyond its critical acclaim, this game has been a massive part of my life personally. From being a part of the Zelda U hype train to pouring hundreds of hours into it across both the Wii U and the Switch, it's tough to put into words just how influential this game was on 14-year-old me. The level of freedom and incredible sense of exploration has kept me playing consistently over the past 9 years, and I still consider it to be my favorite game of all time. Its bigger and more content-rich sequel has only made me appreciate the original even more, as there's a natural beauty to the open world and calming atmosphere to exploring it that is yet to be topped. I also think the story is somewhat underappreciated, as it has so many great characters and impactful moments. It still has plenty of flaws, but overall this game's strengths far outweigh its problems for me. Not only is it the game I've put the most amount of hours into, but it somehow also manages to feel fresh every time I return to it for a playthrough. While I adore the classic style of Zelda games and don't want this open-air design to replace it entirely, Breath of the Wild is one of those games that I played at the perfect time in my life to earn it a permanent place inside my soul. Super Metroid is one of those games that has really grown on me over time, as its slower and more deliberate movement took a while to get used to. But once I did, this game's countless strengths started to shine through, making it my favorite game in the series. The pacing of new upgrades is near perfect, and the layout of the map feels expansive without feeling too intimidating to backtrack through. The music and pixel art have aged incredibly well, and the fact that this game still holds up when compared to modern-day Metroidvanias is super impressive. It still manages to feel cinematic and intimidating, with a sense of isolation that makes overcoming this dangerous planet really satisfying by the end. The minimal text and dialogue adds so much to the atmosphere of Planet Zebes, making it feel like you're truly on your own as you traverse this huge underground maze. Its shorter length makes it a great game to replay every now and then, and getting to the point where you always know exactly where to go next feels amazing. The other 2D Metroid and Prime games are fantastic as well, but to me Super Metroid is the most iconic, cohesive, replayable, and memorable mission that Samus has ever taken on. And last but not least, there's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This might seem like a strange pick, but I seriously think that 8 Deluxe is pretty much a perfect game, as it takes all of the incredible tracks from the base game and adds a hugely improved battle mode with great stages, fun new extra characters, the ability to hold 2 items at once, and runs at a flawless 1080p 60 FPS. This is still one of the best looking Nintendo games ever, and I think this game essentially perfected the classic Mario Kart racing format. Despite playing a ton of 8 on Wii U, I somehow ended up putting even more hours into Deluxe during the Switch's launch window. And while the booster course pass that released a few years later is a solid amount of extra courses, mentally I'm not really including it in my perfect category because some of these tour tracks are pretty rough. Mario Kart World is a great shakeup that has its own unique appeal and mechanics that I love, but I think 8 Deluxe is the more complete and enjoyable experience overall. And a huge reason for that is its phenomenal soundtrack where basically every single song is a standout. There is so much great music packed into this game that I will never get tired of listening to. And those are 10 Nintendo games that I think are 10 out of 10s. It was a lot of fun to revisit all of my personal favorites like this, even though I've talked about all of these games already previously. If you've watched my videos a lot in the past, these might have seemed like somewhat predictable picks, but hopefully I was still able to make things feel somewhat fresh. I also want to go over a quick list of 10 non-Nintendo games that I consider to be basically perfect, as it feels wrong to not mention them at all. Monster Hunter Tri, Hi-Fi Rush, Deltarune Chapter 4, Bloodborne, Stardew Valley, Hollow Knight Silksong, Persona 5 Royal, Celeste, Portal 2, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps are a few other games that are definitely part of my personal Hall of Fame as well. Every once in a while it's fun to be just unreasonably positive and appreciative of the stuff I enjoy the most, as it helps remind me of why I love this hobby so much. Of course, I'd love to hear which Nintendo games you consider to be 10 out of 10s, even if you're the only person in the world who would dare call that game perfect. I mean, we're all gonna die someday, so you might as well be honest about your undying love and respect for Hey Pikmin.